or something to make it easier.
I think in principle, unfortunately, without a change in the bylaws, the way, everybody was treated equally with respect to dues, unfortunately. So that those units that have their own furnaces and their own hot water, unfortunately, are still, exposed to liability for the campus-wide expenses, including the boilers in other buildings and so on. So probably what we would have to do, I don't think it's impossible for the board to decide. We can decide to redistribute money anytime we like, according to whatever principles we think are fair, so long as we don't violate those. In other words, here's one way you could do this. We could reduce your dues, but that would be illegal because the bylaws don't permit us to do things like that.
Right.
So this has come up when you are not. So you guys are you don't pay for heat in your building. You directly.
I pay heat
yourself.
myself too.
Yeah, but you don't pay dues for heat like the rest of us.
We have a small bill. We have a bill.
Yeah, for
my
common
home has a
area.
common area,
Right.
and there's one for my building too, which I assume is for
Electric.
hot water for the, washer and dryer, and for electricity for the building, and maybe
Right.
heat in the common areas or something. But
Correct.
Yeah, I take the point. I don't know how we exactly would proceed, because one of the problems here is that in order to come up with a rational way of compensating you for your exposure to something that is private legally, but, when you're also exposed to these public expenses, to these communal expenses, the problem would be figuring out what is sort of your percentage of exposure to those public expenses and balance those against the ones that are for you private, that are for others public. And I think it would be it would take a study. We'd probably have to, because I'm sure that the majority homeowners would have some trouble with this if we didn't do it in a way that tried to actually capture exactly in what sense you're being overcharged, so to speak.
is there a way to say is there a way to take the boiler and hot water expense out of the monthly dues for everyone and say your boiler and your building blew up, you guys all have to pay an assessment to fix it?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, probably it's repeat, but isn't the furnaces in your private unit, inside of your unit?
Yeah.
And hot
It's
water
hot-
heater as well.
It's your responsibility. Inside is yours.
I understand that.
Right.
I'm just saying.
That
I mean,
he was
if-
assessed for boilers.
I'm just saying that I'm assessed to
Oh,
pay
sure.
for other people's hot water and heat.
Right.
Is there a way for the HOA to do something to mitigate that?
I do
Maybe
not
take
think
some of the money from our dues and put it into a fund to help us
I don't
get a 0%
Then
loan or
you
something.
as
that-
a responsible homeowner need to save that
I
for the problem.
Let's
your
it is,
view is
but
quite
I mean, it's nearly infinite if we want to start drilling into the differences amongst the building, and
Right.
there are many. I have a similar unit as Bruce. I have my own hot water heater, my own furnace, and we don't have an elevator, for instance. Well, there's another difference. But then again,
Yeah, you pay for the elevator.
we have a large campus, and the way the bylaws stipulate is that 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom. That's how we've always done building, and that's how we're going to do it.
I think
Because
the problem is we
the
have no way
differences are
of
just-
breaking out the different communal expenses so that they could be separated by function.
that's right.
I think
That's
that's our
right.
problem.
Like I'm on the third floor, I don't
Because if we had to
have any
replace,
siding, so should I not pay for the siding?
yeah, well, it
I
is-
don't.
it, but I think
I
that,
got
you
all
know,
the
I-
men shirts,
that's
there's
a
no
case.
siding.
I think that your mention of the elevators is particularly pointed, because if you have an elevator that has to be replaced, man, is that expensive.
Yeah.
And most of our buildings don't have elevators. And so, why do,
We have-
and we
we
just
have,
replaced the swamp cooler on one of the buildings, it's humongous, cost $7,000 or whatever.
But we also have
My building doesn't even have a
we-
swamp cooler.
we have northern exposure apartments, which require a lot more constant heat to heat, whereas the southern exposure ones get a lot of southern sun, and they don't really use much heat in the day. I could just go on.
Yeah, I know. So this has
My
been our
building,
problem.
No, well,
Doesn't
I'm, you know, I'm
use
just
heat,
curious if there's something,
but
you
I
know,
pay.
because I'm not, it just came to mind because my neighbor just spent
Yeah,
some thousands to
Yeah, yeah.
replace her furnace, and she just had to pay this assessment too, so.
I mean, I think this is a unique, I mean, not
Yeah.
that we can treat it uniquely, it may be that we're bound by the bylaws,
Yeah.
but it does seem unique in that these people are double paying for a service instead
no,
of.
yeah, yeah.
No, they not.
Well, they're
No,
paying
they're
to
not.
the
They're not.
community
Overpaying.
heat.
We have a budget for
For the community
all of our
assessment.
costs on campus.
It's a percentage
And
of the
that's-
annual budget that goes for these infrastructure things normally,
Yeah.
and it would be maybe 15%.
So let me ask for the distinction then, are the people in the individual boiler units, do they pay the across the board, no, they just pay their building heating
Per
fees?
building,
Right.
Per
split
building.
up.
Okay, so the heating itself, then they're paying for it.
Plus,
Yeah,
plus the
yeah, they
smart,
pay for the
But
plus
the
the
boiler
smart, plus the
repairs is-
smart meters.
Yeah.
The smart meters govern how much energy you use. And so in that regard, people are paying for those, even though we're paying for the infrastructure, roads, boilers, swimming pools, elevators, and all the other things that go with the campus. We all collectively own a piece of the campus, if you will, and certainly a piece of the responsibility for the. I understand your point, Bruce.
Yeah.
No problem
No,
there.
yeah, no, I know you do, I'm just wondering if there's some kind of, I haven't read the bylaws about this particular thing, so I don't know.
There's
but-
nothing at this point.
Yeah, we would have to modify, we'd have to adjust the bylaws to deal with this.
Right.
It's come up in other contexts,
That's-
unfortunately. Thanks for,
I did, I have an
One more
attorney's
question.
opinion.
yeah, good question. Okay, I guess that's all the homeowners who were here to speak today, is that right?
Could I speak? I didn't write it down.
Yeah, if you can be quick, sure, because we're a little over this time already.
Well, regarding the signing of the siding,
Mhm.
I emailed in depth about the different kinds of balconies that we have, some of which were changed and replaced to have a hole across the whole bottom, and the others that have 3 holes that are too high to really allow water to come out. I just listened to part of the recording of this meeting a month ago, because I wasn't here. Thank you, Jackie, for that. It was very informative, and when James Townsend was talking about his rotting balcony, my concern is that we will put siding on, and then we'll be dealing with balconies, and then that will have to, it's just gonna cost more. So I'm asking that the balconies be looked at seriously before beginning a siding, because as I understood it from Carol, engineers said we had to go to this opening all across the bottom, but many of them have not been changed. So Barney and I walked behind the Jason's building, 3120 is it?
30/50.
3050. And, you know, I mean, it's very obvious that the old style is there and the new style. It just doesn't make sense to put siding on.
Well, the problem, of course,
Well,
Judy,
what-
as I emailed you, is that if we hold up the siding in order to get together the money to replace the things that you just mentioned, and it would cost, it's $5,000 minimum each redone deck. If we were to redo, I don't know how many decks there are on each of the buildings that are to be resided, but this is going to add to the cost of doing the siding. If we hold up the siding,
Jason,
order to
you
take care of the
explained all
problem.
this in your email to me, and I
Right.
wanted to bring it before the board
She
because
mentioned it.
okay,
you're one person. And I really do think that the board should consider this. Whatever you decide will happen, I understand that. But if the issue is not raised, the very patios that where Sarah used to live, those were replaced with, they were concrete, they were all cracked, they were replaced with concrete. Within weeks, they were cracking again. We have the drainage from the building problem. We need guttering. We need something engineering-wise. Barney agrees with that. And so all I'm asking is that the siding company be somehow involved in looking at the balconies, okay? I'm not pretending that I know what to do or how to do it. But I have been here 13 years and I have seen things done and redone, when indeed there should have been professional involvement at the beginning. My other concern is this lady who came and got permission to hold swim classes here.
She hasn't been given permission yet.
I heard it on the tape where she was told that she could, and somebody said, and she doesn't
Yes,
pay.
she did. She did.
So,
Yeah, we
Yes.
She has insurance.
She has the insurance to
okay,
do
I'm
the
sorry,
classes.
Yeah.
What is
were
the
they
problem?
gonna be-
The problem
Anymore, you
is
were outside.
this,
Okay,
that I have been swimming when that group comes in, 3 women. And I had to move hither and thither and didn't really understand who they were, what they were about. And now that I hear that it's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at a certain time, I will avoid those times. But she doesn't live here, and as I heard it on the tape, she will not be paying anything to Remington Post to use this space. We are not allowed to have a meeting or something here without paying for the use of the space. My building person, Francoise Netter, is being charged, is that right?
yeah.
Barney, she has a yoga class in here and is being charged. She didn't used to be, but Barney told her that she had to be charged, as I understand it. Now we have an outsider come and is going to offer classes, and she wants, she has 3 now, she says she wants to have as many as 10 people.
You know, I don't see this in the minutes, cause I
You
was,
didn't take a vote on it.
yeah, I don't know.
Jason said it doesn't require a vote, she jumped through
Cause
the hoops.
I'm sorry, I'm not in the loop on this, and I would be charging her, cause she's making money on
See,
it.
Right.
I
If
was
she
not,
makes money.
the issue of whether she was paying was not the issue that we were discussing.
was the
The issue
insurance.
was
Was the
whether,
insurance.
Yeah, she got the
She's been
insurance, but
told-
I'm sorry, I'm out of the loop on this, and my recommendation is we charge, cause they're making money.
Right,
we,
if
of
she's
course, we
making
have
money.
to
And
charge.
then also,
someone
I don't know about
else's.
3 days is a lot, that's
We
all.
have to charge
No,
everyone
if she
that
pays
uses it.
enough money, I don't think it's a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Actually,
it was
you know
actually
what?
said in this meeting, and she is not paying.
No, she needs to
And
pay.
Yeah.
nobody here said anything
I'm
about
gonna
it.
call
We're
her
in agreement on
tomorrow,
that,
so I'm
Judy.
gonna,
It's an oversight.
Okay, I'm gonna bring
Yes.
something up here
Very
that you guys always
Very
fighting me on,
one.
but it is, the clubhouse is not
Okay.
to be used for
Okay, I gotcha.
profit by
Okay, I
any
got it.
owners.
Where is
She's
this?
not an
So-
owner.
so-
She's not
even
and if
an
she's
owner.
renting
Yeah.
the space, it's not necessarily for profit,
Right.
but to cover the expenses
but
of
the
heating and
clubhouse-
lighting and all of that.
right,
I
okay,
have
so,
to figure out
yeah, an
where I
owner is
got that
representing
from.
her, it's in the
But
guest
don't you
speak,
remember?
I just don't see a vote.
The
No,
clubhouse
I mean,
is not
we-
doing it
we-
because
we
you have
rented the
insurance,
thing
we
for
ask for
her.
it.
So
Yeah,
can we
thought-
charge her
we
money?
thought
Yes.
we were just
So
approving
can we
it.
pick it?
That was, will not be
Uh,
any problem.
Yeah.
25 a class.
Yeah.
$5 a person.
Well,
$5
whatever,
per
you should charge whatever we're
That's what she's
charging
getting.
everyone else who uses the space, a space.
This is our first school class, Francois pays $10 an hour.
She pays $10 an hour for this room?
Yeah.
Yeah, could I?
Sure,
could I actually have
because
you-
remember that,
Oh,
that's a
It's
bonus
fine.
space,
Oh, if you just wanna
and
tell me that,
it's not reserved only, but it's obviously
I
taking
just
up
need it
space.
for the-
that
$5
people-
per person per
No,
hour.
you-
No,
how about-
that's what she's charging.
How about if she doesn't
charges
charge the
$5
people?
per person.
She can give the classes for free, as long as she
It's
bring
her,
the
it's her
insurance.
job, we should just
You
charge her a
you wanna
flat
get back
rate
to that?
regardless of the number of
What are you gonna
students
do?
that she brings
Find
in.
out about
Right.
classes.
Because it is
Someone
also her
renting the
occupation.
clubhouse.
So I think we've come to a decision that we should charge her, right? But I think that
Okay.
should be made by someone who's already instigating charges.
The manager, of course.
Yeah, so that
Okay,
sounds like
so
we
how
should
about
do
I'll
that.
research what she's
Work
doing,
out
and I'll
what
email you
seems to
guys
be a
and
fair
give you my,
charge based on-
fair pricing on it.
Yeah.
Maybe the cost of maintaining the resource she's using.
Are the people that she's teaching homeowners?
Some
Some,
are.
she's
Yes,
one.
we are. Yes, we are.
I don't think
All of
it
you?
matters, right?
Yes.
Someone using her infrastructure.
No, it's okay.
Right.
Well, she did do what we asked, she did get insurance, she did, indemnify
No
Remington.
problem with her.
Okay.
But did you discuss with her fairly that there would be a charge?
I told her that the board would probably assign a charge when I spoke to her before she came to the meeting.
But she came.
But I have not been in the loop since the meeting, and I apologize
We'll-
for that,
we'll
so I need to
rectify
follow up.
Yeah. Okay, so, does anybody else here want to speak?
Yeah, we wanted to bring up the issue of smoking. We've been here before bringing it up, and now that it's cold out, we can't open our windows, and it's really bad. We've talked to the guy below us a couple times in the last couple of weeks, but it hasn't improved and I don't
Ronnie,
know.
I saw an email from you about this.
Building unit?
Where do things?
Actually, that's a
Three,
different,
335.
we went, yeah, it's a different building. I think we can do some ceiling work for him.